أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة وعبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، ما خاب والله من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم. سادتي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز معكم فوزا عظيما. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Every country, every state, every empire was raised with a national anthem. And the United States of America or the United Kingdom, there's a flag, and when the flag is raised, all will recite a national anthem and show the respect to the national anthem of their country. We as Shia believers, we also have a national anthem. It doesn't belong to a country, it doesn't belong to a flag, it belongs to the Imam of our time, Al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, Ajjal Allah Farajahu al-Sharif. They pay allegiance to a flag, we pay allegiance to a man. That without him, the hadith says, لولا الحجة لساخت الأرض بأهلها. If it was not for Imam al-Hujjah, the Imam of your time, this world, this earth, these galaxies will all diminish. The existence of man is because of the Hujjah, the Imam and the vicegerent and the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The connection بين الأرض وبين السماء, between this earth and the skies. Upon the duty of every nation, when a person pays its allegiance to the flag, they must protect their citizens even if they are far away from their countries. Even citizens abroad, away from their families, if they are in trouble, you call the embassy and you tell them, I am in need of assistance and need of your help. It is the duty of the country to protect the people of its country. And it is the duty of the people of the country to do anything they can to protect the the country they live in and the soil that has held them and protected them and given them their freedom. خَيْرُ الْبُلْدَانِ مَا حَمَلَكَ. The Prophet says the best of countries is the country that hosts you, the country that you can live in, the country that you could work in, the country that you could speak freely, work freely, and there is no one to oppress you. But it is also your duty to protect your country using any method that you can protect your country from harm or bringing any harm to your country. Also, Islam has the same analogy. Islam says, tells the Prophet, summons the Prophet. He tells him, وَقُلِ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولَهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. O Muhammad, O Rasulullah, tell the believers, if they truly have paid allegiance to Allah and to Rasulullah and to the mu'mineen, the believers, they must act upon their allegiance. وَقُلِ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the witness, Rasulullah will be a witness, and the mu'mineen will also be a witness. Thus we see companions that we glorify because of the actions they committed for their allegiance. A person like Abu Dharr al-Ghafari rahmatullahi alayhi. He was a non-believer before Islam. He was a mushrik. He used to worship idols. But when he heard that there has come a messenger to save mankind from evil and to guide them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he took the initiative to send his brother to the city of Mecca to hear of the whereabouts of Muhammad. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. His brother goes to the city of Mecca and he makes sure that there is a man saying that he has come with a message, that he has come with a doctrine, that he has come with a Quran. Hudan lin-nas. This Quran, the book that he has come with, is a guidance and a guider to the man. He goes back to his city and he tells his elder brother, yes, there is a man in the city of Mecca who declares prophecy and declares to be a messenger of God. Abu Dharr leaves his city, leaves his home, goes to Mecca. He goes to Mecca, he's sitting on the sidewalk. He has nowhere to go. There were no hotels at that time. Hoping to find a trace from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amir al-Mu'mineen, at a young age, a young man, he's walking in the street and he sees a stranger. This man isn't from the city of Mecca. He asks him, do you have a place to stay tonight? He tells him no. He tells him, have you had lunch, dinner, anything to eat? He says, no, as the time that I have arrived, I have been sitting here. Amir al-Mu'mineen welcomes him to his house. For 3 days, Abu Dharr sleeps and eats and drinks in the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Ali ibn Abi Talib doesn't even ask him his name or where he's from or what he is here for. What's the purpose of his visit? And the third day, he asks Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen, have you heard of this man Muhammad? He has come as a Messiah. He is the chosen one that the Christians promised us to come as a guider. Amir al-Mu'mineen tells him, yes, I have heard such of a man. Do you want me to take you to him? He says, yes, of course. This is the reason of my visit. He tells him, follow me. He walks after Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and he takes him to the courtyard of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alih. It only takes 2 simple words from Rasulullah and the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enters the heart of Abu Dharr. Abu Dharr then stands and goes and stands in the middle of Mecca. Stands in front of the clan of Quraysh, where the the pagans are bowing and prostrating to their idols. And he raises his voice, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Even to a fact that they left him drenched in his blood. They beat him severely to near death. He did not give up. The next day he goes and he does the same thing. He raises his voice in the Shahada. The third day he stands before Quraysh and he does the same thing. And every day they beat him to near death. And when he was asked why, he said, I gave my allegiance to Muhammad and the Lord of Muhammad. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. A young man by the name of Mus'ab ibn Umair was the first messenger of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. At 18 years old, he became the first representative, an ambassador of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. He left Mecca to Medina to the people of Yathrib to teach them the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to recite the holy verses of the Holy Quran, to enlighten them, to teach them. At 18 years old, he was the drastic reason why the people of Medina accepted Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi to take him as a leader and accept his home to be with them. Mus'ab ibn Umair used to live in a castle, brothers and sisters, raised as a child, servants serving him, maids serving him, sleeping on silk. He left that lifestyle. He left the lifestyle of the riches. And he went to Medina because he fell in love with Rasulullah. And he paid true allegiance to Allah and His Messenger. He used to sleep on dirt and in the narrow pathways of Medina just so he can stand in the morning and preach and guide the people of Medina. Why is it that we respect Khadija alayhi salam more than all the other wives of the Prophet? Why is it that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, till the last moments of his life, he would shed tears for his wife Khadija? Because Khadija gave everything, brothers and sisters. It is said that Khadija used to own a trade. Every time she would make a trade, she would bring back goods and supplies worth of 1,000 camels. Can you imagine today, there's a merchant and an entrepreneur in the city of Bradford. He brings 1,000 lorries worth of products from China to sell them in Bradford. Khadija gave everything to a point that when she passed away, this mother, the mother of believers, the true mother of believers, because mothers only give what can enlighten your future. If a mother is not supporting the children in their belief, she is no longer a mother. This is why we respect Khadija, because she gave us, her children, everything. Everything she owned, to a point that she didn't even own a shroud on the day of her funeral. Rasulullah took his aban cloak, he wrapped Khadija with it and buried Khadija. But she gave everything. Why? Because it wasn't just marital relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it was allegiance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. By law in some countries, when you become 18, it is mandatory for you to be summoned to armed forces. In the Middle East, if you become 18, that's it. You have to go and serve the military, at least a minimum of 2 years. Even in the West, you have to sign a paper sometimes that says if there is any threat coming to this country, I, as a citizen, I am willing to join the military forces to defend my country and to defend its honor. You have paid allegiance to a flag. You have been living under the rule. And these people that stood on the day of Ashura under the banner of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they were also summoned in arms. They also paid their allegiance to Imam Hussein, not just by their tongue, but even on the battleground. A person like Muslim ibn Awsajah, when Imam Hussein alayhi salam told them to leave and depart on the 10th of Ashura, the night of Ashura, the eve of the battle, he told them, my brothers, they have not come here to kill you or massacre you. So every single one of you can leave in the darkness, take a family member of mine, and no one will harm you. Go back to your families in safety. These people have only just come for me, and I will confront them by myself. I by myself will stand against tyranny. Muslim ibn Awsajah responds to Imam Hussein. He says, أَنَحْنُ نَخْلِي عَنْكَ وَلِمَا نَعْذَرْ إِلَى اللَّهِ فِي أَدَاءِ حَقِّكَ. What will we tell our Lord? What will we tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if He asks us, what did you do for Hussein ibn Ali? What did you do for the son of Fatima? And then he swears by Allah that I will break my spear in the chests of these munafiqeen and these hypocrites. I will fight even if my sword breaks. Even if they take my weapon, I will stone them. I will fight until the heat of the blade takes my head. But as long as it's Nusrah, the Nusrah of Abu Abdullah, we will never leave you. We will stand with you till the last breath, Ya Rasulullah. We are standing here with you and screaming, Labbayka ya Hussein. Labbayka ya Hussein. Labbayka ya Hussein. Labbayka ya Hussein. Sa'd ibn Abdullah al-Hanafi, another companion, stands up and says, Ya Abu Abdullah, if they burn me to death 70 times, and they bring my ashes, and I am given life again, and they chop me into pieces, I will never leave you, O Hussein. Qasim stands and say, Al-Nusratu ma'ak, Al-Mawtu ma'ak, Al-Shahadatu ma'ak, Ya Ammah, Ahla min al-Asal. The sons of Aqil, when he tells them that your father has been killed, your uncle has been killed, they tell him, Ya Abu Abdullah, you want us to return, and you want the pagans and the mushrikeen of Quraysh to say that you did not stand and take an arrow with your cousin Hussein, that you didn't carry a spear and a sword and defend your cousin Hussein. For his honor, for the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, we will serve you unconditionally. We will serve you with the bottom of our hearts. Even if it means death. Even if it means death. We don't fear death. Death is sweet when it is with you, Ya Abu Abdullah. Why did Ja'far al-Tayyar earn wings and fly with the angels? Ja'far, his nickname is Tayyar, the one who will fly with the angels. Ja'far, when he went to battle in the battle of Tabuk, he marched towards the enemy. He carried the banner of Rasulullah. He carried the banner and kept on marching into enemy lines by himself, brothers and sisters. He entered enemy lines in the middle and in the heart of the military of the enemies. When his right hand was taken, he didn't drop the banner of Islam. He carried it with his left hand. And when his left hand was taken, he did not quit. He kept on marching until his last breath. Jibreel descends to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and he tells him, Ya Rasulullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted Ja'far with wings that he will fly over all the shuhada in paradise. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Why did Abbas alayhi salam become Abbas? Why is it when you hear the name of Abbas, your body shivers? Why is it that when you fall to your knees, you raise your voice, Ya Ghazi Abbas? Why? Because Abbas, to the last breath, he fought for his brother Hussein. He has water in his hands and he throws it to the floor. He throws it back to the river and says, Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Husayn hudi. My soul, my nafs, after Hussein, there is no purpose for you to stay alive. This is why we shed tears for Hussein. This is why we shed tears for Abbas alayhi salam, because these people serve their religion with unconditional love. Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Husayn huni. And it doesn't matter your race, brothers and sisters, nor your gender, nor your religion. Doesn't matter if you're Pakistani, black, white or brown. Because Imam Hussein's door were open to every single race on the 10th of Ashura. The Christian man, Wahab, his mother that carried a sword in the protection of Imam Hussein and lost her life. Even women protected the progeny of Rasulullah. A black man by the name of Joan, Imam Hussein carries him. He places him to his chest and he places his face to his face. The only other person who deserved this treatment from Imam Hussein was his own son, Ali al-Akbar. A person that is said to be the most resemblant to the face of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. But it doesn't matter, because these people truly pay their allegiance. Ali ibn Abi Talib didn't sleep one night in the bed of Rasulullah. For 3 consecutive years, every single day, Ali ibn Abi Talib would sleep in the bed of Rasulullah to protect the Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After Quraysh had placed sanctions upon the family of our Prophet, the Prophet had to live in a place called Sha'b Abi Talib, the crevice between 2 mountains. All the household and the family and the clan of Rasulullah were trapped in this place. For 3 years, food wasn't given to them. Water wasn't given to them. By who? By the grandfather of the same animal that stood against Imam Hussein on the 10th of Ashura. By the same animal. Animals can only give birth to animals. They can't give birth to humans. For 3 years, Abu Talib would come to Ali alayhi salam and tell him, my son, it is midnight. This is the time that you change your place with Rasulullah. And Amir al-Mu'mineen would sleep in the bed of our Prophet. He was hit many times. And he almost lost his life many times. But when he was told why and asked why, he would respond, أردت به نصر الإله تبتلا. I wanted to aid the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no reason. وأضمرته حتى أوسد في القبر. And I protected Rasulullah and will protect my kin until they place me in my qabr. In my grave, I will protect Muhammad. Even if it means my death, it doesn't matter. Living to protect Muhammad has more honor than having a normal life. I would rather die in the sabil and the cause of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a true allegiance, brothers and sisters. True allegiance is the allegiance of Maytham al-Tammar, that even when they crucify him on a palm tree, they rip open his stomach, he's still saying the virtues of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He is still saying the virtues of Haydar. قال عباب خيبر. He is still saying, Ya Ali. These people truly dedicated their lives and serve this religion unconditionally, without any conditions. But brothers and sisters, also we saw in Islam, and today history proves itself, and today proves itself, that people also claim they have given their allegiance to Islam, to the messenger, But none of their actions show. On the 10th of Muharram, they're holding weddings. As soon as Muharram has started, they are having weddings. They're having parties. They are saying this is the happiest day of the year. This is our New Year's, so let's celebrate just like the Westerns celebrate. Let's get drunk and hammered. This is a new year. It is our actions that speak louder than words. Who have you paid allegiance to Rasulullah and Islam, or to another religion? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. I don't ask you anything in return except the love of my family. Just the love of my family. And when the day that comes to commemorate the martyrdom of the grandson of Hussein, you hold a wedding? You hold a wedding and you claim to represent Islam and to claim that you have paid allegiance to Rasulullah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. These people, they don't know who they have paid allegiance to shaitan or to Allah. Just like Abu Hurairah didn't know who he had paid allegiance to. He would go pray with Ali ibn Abi Talib and go eat with Muawiyah. الطعام مع معاوية أدسم والصلاة مع علي ibn Abi Talib أتم. You can't stand in the middle. There is no middle ground. There is no middle ground with these people. Brothers and sisters, if you don't live like Ali ibn Abi Talib and Ahlul Bayt, you won't be resurrected with them, however much you want to do. Whatever you want to do, but if you don't live their life, you won't be resurrected with them. Don't live the life of Abu Hurairah. Don't live the life that pleases you in this dunya and say, I will go pray with Ali ibn Abi Talib as well. You cannot fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah cannot be fooled. The messenger of Islam cannot be fooled. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. The first and second Khalifa, they come to Ali ibn Abi Talib on the day of Ghadir. The day that Rasulullah gathered all the Muslims in Ghadir Khum and raised his hand and says, من كنت مولاه فهذا علي مولاه. اللهم انصر من نصره واخذل من خذله. The first and second Khalifa come to him and tell him, بخن بخن لك يا علي. أصبحت مولاي ومولى كل مؤمن ومؤمنة. Congratulations, congratulations, oh Ali, you have become the Mawla, the leader, the guardian of all the believers, including us too. Because they were there at the moment. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi addressed all the Muslims. But only took several days, brothers and sisters. Several days. Less than 100 days. Until they brought lumber and set fire at the door of Fatima. Less than 100 days. It was less than 100 days that they placed a rope at the neck of Ali ibn Abi Talib and dragged him for bay'ah. It was less than 100 days until they stood outside the house of Fatima and said, we will burn it down even if Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein are in this house. Now who is your sincerity to, your allegiance to Rasulullah? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi already told you who's the Imam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi told you what he wants from you in return from his guidance. He wants love to his family. Now we, brothers and sisters, we want to show our dedication. We want to show our allegiance to the Imam of our time, to our religion, to our madhab, to our deen. What must we do? We have to do exactly the same thing that Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas did. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas on the 10th of Ashura, when they took off his right arm, he chanted the words, Wallahi in qata'tumu yamini, inni uhami abadan an dini. By Allah, by my Lord, even if you took off my right arm, I will still protect the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I lived forever, my mission in life is to protect the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inni uhami abadan an dini. What have we taken as an initiative to protect the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? To protect the image of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdal as-salatu was-salam. There are so many Muslims in Bradford. How many of us have gone out of our way to teach them the teachings of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad? Sallu ala Muhammad wa Ali. If every single one of us was like Muhammad Mahdi Al Qazwini, as Sayyid Muhammad Mahdi Al Qazwini, he was the marja of his time. He was the grand ayatollah of his time that left everything just to guide people, to guide the ummah of Rasulullah, to bring them back to Ali ibn Abi Talib. He left his marja'iyah and he started going from clan to clan in the country of Iraq. Going city to city, family to family, spent 10 to 15 years in a country that its majority was Sunni. He changed it. By the time he had to depart this life, he changed the whole demographics of this country. He changed it to a point that when you and I go for the ziyarah of Imam Hussein on the day of Arba'een, the 40th, they are willing to host 25 million of the zuwar of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. One person, brothers and sisters, one of you can change many people. But it is, have we taken the initiative? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, In tansurullah yansurkum. If you aid Allah's mission, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you in ways you can't imagine. In tansurullah yansurkum. But why is it that our sect, only our sect, there are more than 73 sects in the Shias, and the Muslims, and the Sufi, Sunni, Maliki, you could name them all. But why is it that when it comes to our sect, the Shia Ithna Asharis, we are prosecuted in every single part of the world? Why is it that our scholars like Sheikh al-Nimr have to be sentenced to death row? Why is it that a country like Bahrain, that 90% of the population are like us, Shia Ithna Asharis, have been oppressed for years? There is no one to protect them. They call upon you. هَلْ مِن نَاصِرٍ يَنْصُرُنَا? But none are there to respond. How many of us have went out of our way to protect our brothers in Bahrain? They are being killed, massacred, imprisoned on daily basis. Even in countries like Malaysia, we saw last year they took even small children and they threw them in prison cells just because they were Shia. How many of us spoke, brothers and sisters? Why is it that a woman cannot wear a headscarf in a country like France? But does any country on this planet dare to tell a Jew he can't wear a yarmulke? Can France be brave enough to say that we do not allow the Israeli attire? No yarmulkes, no curly hair? You can't walk in that suit in my street? Why? Because they are internationally protected. But why is it that Shia Muslims, they're not? It's our shortcomings, brothers and sisters. It's our shortcomings. Shortcomings that even coming to a small center, making it much larger, we don't take the initiative to spread the religion of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. We have the opportunities to spread and to make a larger home for ourselves, for our families, and for our children. A place that when people drive by, they can say, MashaAllah, this is the place of Ja'far al-Sadiq. This is the place of Hussein. Somewhere we can be proud of. Somewhere where our children are proud of to go. A place that our children and wives and sisters and brothers are proud to attend. We have the money. Every single one of us has the money to help. But when it comes to Imam Hussein and helping your religion and spreading your religion, we all become stingy. We all become Uncle Scrooge. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, In tansurullah yansurkum. If you help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will help you. If you give $1, Allah will give you 10. If you give 10, Allah will give you 100. But why is it that the Jews think this way? Even though it's not part of their religion. But we as Muslims, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger tells us that when you give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will multiply it. We Shia Muslims always have the smallest centers in every single city. And you see others, they have the largest centers. Because they took an initiative. Why is it that no country on this earth can speak out of the injustice that's going on between Israel and Palestine? Because these people invested in 1891. A person by the name of William Blackstone attempted to persuade the President of the United States of America, Benjamin Harrison, to have all the Jews from all around the world move to Palestine. He took an initiative from how long ago? 1891. Another man at the year 1844 by the name of Christian George Bush wrote a book called The Valley of Vision, saying in this book that I believe that the Jews must live amongst the elite nations. He was a Zionist. This was his vision. He sold 1 million copies. He sold 1 million copies, and in 1914, Louis Brandeis was the first Zionist to enter American politics. And now Obama can't even take a step if he doesn't ask a Jew, if he doesn't ask a Zionist. But these people invested from how long ago, brothers and sisters? Do we invest? How many years have we been in this country? This is the best we could do. We have been here generations. We have grandchildren now in this country, and this is the best we can present them? Shouldn't we work for Allah's true nation Shouldn't we work for God's new true nation on earth? It all depends on you. When will we take a chance? When will we start to work and strive? When will we start? When will you start as a person and make a change? Like Sayyid Muhammad Mahdi Al Qazwini. It took one man like Imam Hussein to bring back over the strongest and more respectful military general on the other side. Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi heard the call of Imam Hussein on the 10th of Ashura. And that's all it took to guide him. He left his power, he left his position, because he knew that where he would stand, there was no guidance, there was no benefit. On the 10th of Ashura, one man like Imam Hussein guided so many. Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi is sitting in his tent. He is hearing the voices of the children of Rasulullah. Al-Atash. Al-Atash, we are dying of thirst. We haven't had water in days. The infants in the camp had no milk. Their mothers couldn't breastfeed them anymore. He hears the calls and the cries of the children. He feels guilty. What am I doing? This is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alih. He mounts his horse and he starts to march towards Imam Hussein. When he reaches Imam Hussein, he bows down and he kneels. He places his head down out of shame of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein tells him, who is it? He cries, أنا الذي جعجعتك عن الطريق. I am the one that brought you and the daughters of Rasulullah to Karbala. I am Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Imam al-Hussein tells him, what do you need, my brother? He tells him, oh Hussein, I have come to ask you for forgiveness. And Ya Hussein, I want to be the first person that his blood is shed in your cause. When Imam Hussein saw that this man is giving true allegiance to him and to his religion, he accepted. He said, اذهب يا حر. Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi goes to the enemies and he starts to fight courageously until a fatal blow comes to his head. And he falls to the ground. He raises his voice, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Ya Aba Abdullah, Assalamu alayk. Imam al-Hussein reaches him. He tells him, Ya Hur, it is a true honor to have you on my side. It is true that your mother called you a free man because you have just earned your freedom. These are the people who truly showed their allegiance to their religion and to their imams. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.